welcome everyone to 284 News. My name is Javon Wilson.
I'm Kamal Haynes.
And I'm Ron Grant.
And we are so thrilled and happy to be coming to you live out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands. The content continues via our website, 284media.com. In today's news, the suspect in the Mia Marcano missing case allegedly commits suicide, according to police. The search is still on to find the former VI Prince and Princess contestant.
And a local Virgin Gorda construction firm, the center of a large COVID cluster on the sister island with 29 detected positive cases.
We also see 50% of BVI residents being fully vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus.
And no definitive date as to when the long overdue scrubber device for the incinerator will arrive in the BVI. And we also see the BVI financial services sector experience huge growth in the first half of 2021. We get to these stories when 284 News returns.
You value traditions. Today. You value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Well, welcome everyone. It's Monday, September 27th, 2021. I'm Kamal Haynes.
And my name is Javon Wilson, here with another dose of 284 News, of course, with your local, regional, as well as international content. Now, viewers, a desperate search is now on for Mia Marcano, who has regional ties to the British Virgin Islands. This is a story that has so many persons worried across the BVI, but also across the United States. And breaking news just earlier today, the suspect, the maintenance guy who actually worked at her complex, allegedly committed suicide. Also, viewers, we're following reports that an estimated 50% of the BVI population has been fully vaccinated. And of course, this is according to Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Ronald Georges, who within his September 25th statement said, and I quote, "Vaccination rates have improved to where approximately 50% of the population is currently fully vaccinated. While this may be the blunt impact of hospitalization and death from future outbreaks, it still has much more room for improvement." End of quote. Now, viewers, there are a number of things that the government and local health authorities are working on to put in place to ensure that more options, first of all, are available for those considering the vaccine. We want to head straight into our newscast today. Troubling updates coming out of Orange County, Florida. Now, since Friday, 5 p.m., Mia Marcano was reported missing from the Arden Villas apartments on Arden Villas Boulevard near the University of Central Florida in Orlando. Now, viewers, she is the granddaughter of VI's Letty Hodge and very well known in this territory. She also formerly contested in the Prince and Princess show back in 2012, arising as a crowd favorite. Now, viewers, red flags were raised when Marcano, who was scheduled to take a flight to Fort Lauderdale later in the evening, never boarded the plane. Her family then traveled to Orlando to speak with Orange County Sheriff's Police deputies. Now, based on reports reaching our newsroom viewers, there were signs of struggle in her apartment. The police, though yet to confirm, we are hearing that there was blood in her bedroom and there were signs of forced entry. We're going to go to a quick video police update today from the police in Orange County, who also spoke to the fact that shockingly, the suspect has committed suicide.
After Mia was reported missing, our detectives determined 27-year-old Armando Manuel Caballero was a person of interest in her disappearance. Earlier today, Armando Caballero was found dead at an apartment complex in Seminole County. It appears he has killed himself. Caballero's vehicle was found at the scene and is being delivered to the sheriff's office for processing. So the death investigation of Caballero is being conducted by the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. We have been actively searching for Caballero. this weekend. And I want to reiterate, Mia is still missing. Her disappearance is suspicious, and our detectives and the family members obviously suspect foul play. So we are still doing everything possible we can to find her. So here's what we know about Caballero. He was a maintenance person at the Arden Villas Apartments off of University Boulevard, where Mia was last seen on Friday. Mia lives and works at the apartment complex. Caballero had worked at the apartment complex since June. And so he had demonstrated a romantic interest in Mia. This was repeatedly rebuffed by Mia. And during the initial investigation, he told deputies he last saw Mia at 3 p.m. Friday while working. We now know that a maintenance-issued master key fob, which Caballero was known to be in possession of, was used to enter Mia's apartment Friday afternoon at about 4:30. This would have been about 30 minutes before she finished her shift at the apartment complex. So Mia was last seen at approximately 5 p.m. Friday, September 24th, at Arden Villas Apartments. And obviously her family raised this level of alarm and concern, knowing Mia. She would never not be in contact with them, would never turn off her phone, obviously never let her phone battery drain completely down. So it's extremely important for our media partners to continue to give this case as much attention as possible.
Now, viewers, and I think Kamal, ever since news broke about Mia going missing on Friday, I think the entire territory has been really worried about her whereabouts, especially since her family would have reported to the police deputies in Orange County the fact that Mia is in constant communication with her family. Based on reports, she was supposed to board that flight on Friday evening, missed the flight, and of course that was what raised red flags. But I want to speak to some of the facts in the case based on what was confirmed today by police officials. One of the things we heard from early on was that this suspect, 27-year-old Armando, he was the maintenance guy at the complex that she lived and worked, and apparently was romantically pursuing Mia. However, based on what police have said and family and friends of Mia as well, many times she would have rebuffed his requests. Also, we're learning based on what police said that the suspect who allegedly committed suicide today, he used a key to enter her room without permission just around 4:30 that afternoon, which was that would have been about 30 minutes before she ended her shift, came into her apartment, and we don't know what exactly happened after that. But such an unfortunate story because, we usually hear about these stories in the United States, and I think this is for the first time it has hit so closely to home. She is related to the Hodges, and this is a very tragic case. However, the police in Orange County are still very, very hopeful in finding Mia, and of course, they're appealing to anyone who would have seen anything, especially the whereabouts of Armando before he committed suicide, to speak up and to say something.
Yes, it's very heartbreaking news, very concerning news as well too. With this latest development, obviously persons would have had hope, following the suspect, being identified, but now there's information that has allegedly committed suicide. It brings even more concern now for persons, to get more information on where she could be at this present time. But we here at 284 Media join, in prayer and hope that she's found safe and sound. Well, viewers, moving on to local news here in the territory, where the Ministry of Health has revealed that there is presently a large COVID-19 cluster of positive cases on the sister island of Virgin Gorda that is associated with a local construction company, which to date has registered 29 positive cases. But those new cases bring the new tally of active positive cases in the territory to 61 as of Saturday, September 25th, 2021. Well, the announcement was made by Chief Medical Officer Dr. Ronald Georges, who informed the public on the matter and the measures being taken by the relevant departments and agencies to keep the cluster under control. Well, he said, and I quote, Well, the Ministry of Health continues to work closely with the company. Additionally, the Social Distancing Task Force, the Environmental Health Division, and the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force are also working together to ensure that all workers of the company are quarantined for the appropriate time and tested at the appropriate time to limit any further spread that may occur from this large cluster. And he also said that we are aware that many social and sporting gatherings are planned to take place over the course of the weekend. And we are asking persons to be extra vigilant and adhere to measures at this time, end quote. Well, the Chief Medical Officer also urged residents of the sister island to exercise caution over the weekend as they attended various activities. He also advised residents who may have been in contact with members of the construction firm to report to the COVID-19 hotline if they were experiencing any of the symptoms. And he said again, as a quote, we are aware that many social and sporting gatherings are planned to take place over the course of this weekend. We are asking persons to be extra vigilant and adhere to measures at this time. Anyone who has contact with this group or any person who develops symptoms suggestive of COVID-19 should immediately isolate and arrange for a PCR test by filling out the online symptom tracker at https://redcat.link/BVI COVID SMR, end quote. For persons experiencing moderate or severe symptoms or any other clinical concerns are being urged to please call the medical hotline at 852-7650. Well, Javon, this here, we heard this news over the weekend, just as soon as we thought that, the cases in the BVI were once again declining, hopefully, yet again reaching single-digit numbers. We would have heard this concerning news. I would have reached out to the owner of the firm, and we will have that story coming to you guys tomorrow regarding what, his response regarding some of the measures being taken by his firm and the emotional, financial, and cost that is costing his workers as well. So we'll keep you guys posted on that news.
All right, and viewers, again, speaking to the fluidity of the situation with COVID, clearly why our health officials, our government, and I think the wider BVI community continues to reiterate the need for us to continue to abide by those very important health protocols.
Well, viewers, up next, with no definitive date as to when the long overdue scrubber device for the incinerator will arrive in the BVI, and a tropical cyclone alert is in effect for the BVI as Hurricane Sam remains a major hurricane. We get to these stories after a word from our sponsors. Well, welcome back, viewers. Well, there is no definitive date as to when the long overdue scrubber device for the incinerator at the Popwood Pond landfill will arrive in the British Virgin Islands. Well, this is according to the Minister for Health, Carvin Malone, who made that disclosure during a recent interview with 284 News. Well, a scrubber device is used for removing pollutants from industrial exhaust streams. It is an air stream pollution control device which uses liquid spray to remove solid and liquid particulate matter and gaseous pollutants which are either absorbed or chemically neutralized. Well, Minister Malone said that the COVID-19 pandemic has continuously affected the revised timelines given by the manufacturer Consultech Systems LLC, and as a result there is no telling when the device will arrive in the territory.
It is probably to be an elusive item. So after many years and meeting this issue with the scrubber, the company now has claimed that the close downs that they've had as it relates to the COVID-19 crisis have pushed them back in their schedule. So I cannot give a definitive answer right now as to exactly when I'll be able to get that, but it is an issue I came into office and met, an issue which I am committed to having solved, and an issue to which has been elusive.
Well, viewers, our news team also asked the minister if there were any plans to secure the needed device from another supplier following the failure to deliver the device as promised on numerous occasions. Well, Minister Malone replied that his government will not be seeking another manufacturer at this time due to two main factors. The first being that the contracted company is one of few companies which specialize in the scrubber device, while the second reason was the amount of money already invested in getting the product.
Proprietary equipment in terms of the incinerator. It is made by a specific manufacturer that has the scrubber, number one, and number two, the previous government had made substantial investments in procurement of it, and we are determined not to let that investment go.
Well, viewers, prior to the COVID-19 pandemic affecting the territory, Minister Malone had stated in February 2020 that he was given assurance by Consultech Systems that the scrubber device would have arrived in the BVI within the first quarter of 2020. Well, more than 1 year later after this promised deadline, the device is yet to arrive in the territory. But the absence of the scrubber at the Popwood Pond facility has been said to affect the respiratory health of persons in the immediate surrounding areas. But this was also once again reiterated by some residents during a recent community meeting held in the 1st District, where a local mill voiced his concerns regarding the smoke from the landfill, which affects his household. While he said on many occasions he has to close all the windows in his home to prevent the smoke from entering and causing breathing difficulties. But Javon, yet again, this is, time and time again, we hear obviously government and previous governments promising certain things, and this is was one of the key things that residents were hoping that would have been at least attained by this government and achieved. Obviously the scrubber is so critical, especially when you have to frequent that area and you see all the emissions from the plant going over the hills and affecting persons in the Keene Garden Bay community, mostly persons in the 1st District, and I do sympathize with those persons who have to constantly breathe in these chemicals on a daily basis. It obviously, especially for someone who may have asthma, as like myself, it presents some very difficult challenges to the body.
And I think really people are sick and tired of being told that this issue will be resolved to no avail. I think, like you said, government in, government out. Why is this such a difficult issue for us to sort out? Especially since, like you mentioned, it has remained a health hazard to so many people within that area. So at this point, Kamal, I think a lot of persons are saying all froth and no mobby as it relates to the promises as it regards resolving this issue. And we're just trusting that government and the persons in charge can prioritize this particular issue so that persons, particularly in those areas, and we have to also look at better ways of waste management. I think as we continue to be faced with this particular issue, are we looking at alternatives? So these are things to consider as well in this particular case. Now, viewers, we're going to move right along. According to DDM, Hurricane Sam is expected to remain a major hurricane for the next several days and still expected to pass at a safe distance away from the islands. Now, a tropical cyclone alert remains in effect for the Leeward Islands and the British Virgin Islands. Now, for those of you who may not know, a tropical cyclone alert means, in this case, a hurricane is in our monitored area. Watches and warnings are not required at this time, but may be necessary within the next 72 hours. Now, viewers, based on current information and analysis, Hurricane Sam is still expected to pass at a safe distance away from the Leeward Islands and the British Virgin Islands between Tuesday and Wednesday, with little or no wind and weather impact to the islands. Swells associated with Sam could impact coastal areas as early as Wednesday to produce dangerous surfs and rip currents. Now at 5 a.m. this morning, the center of Hurricane Sam was located near altitude 15.2 north, longitude 51.4 west, or about 784 miles southeast of the British Virgin Islands. Sam is now moving towards the northwest near 8 miles per hour, and this motion is expected to continue for the next few days with an increase in forward speeding beginning on Thursday. Maximum sustained winds have decreased to near 130 miles per hour with higher gusts, and Sam is a Category 4 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. Now, little chance in strength is expected during the next day or so. Thereafter, however, some slow weakening is forecasted through the midweek, although Sam should remain a major hurricane. It is a small hurricane, but hurricane force winds extend outward up to 30 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 105 miles. The estimated minimum central pressure is 952 MBs. Now, viewers, of course, based on what DDM is saying and based on our experiences in the past, it is absolutely critical that we remain vigilant, paying attention to official updates from DDM, and of course, making sure that we have all the prerequisites in place in the event that something should happen.
Well, viewers, up next, the BVI financial services sector experiences huge growth in first half of 2021, and Carnival loses $2.8 billion but sees solid 2022 bookings. We get to these stories when 284 News return.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Well, thanks for sticking with us, viewers. Well, the British Virgin Islands financial services sector has continued to see strong growth in the first half of 2021, with 68% of increase in company incorporations and almost a threefold increase in the registrations of limited partnerships. Well, this is according to a media release from the Premier's office, which said that activity has grown through each quarter, with the second quarter of 2021 seeing an increase of 93% in company incorporations on the same period in 2020, and the numbers of LPs rising by 288%. But the Premier's office also said that the results of the latest statistical bulletin from the BVI Financial Services Commission showed that the continued vigor of the BVI's financial services industry in tandem with a wider global economic recovery. In addition, it said that the BVI firms have worked on publicly announced transactions involving tens of billions of dollars of global transactions in the first 6 months of the year, from initial public offerings to complex acquisitions. But this builds on the strength and resilience demonstrated by the BVI in 2020, which saw BVI firms similarly act on tens of billions of global transactions throughout the year. Well, these examples showcase the $1.5 trillion of assets held in BVI companies used for a cross-border investment in a wide variety of physical, corporate, and financial assets. Global cross-border investments using BVI companies provide the underlying finance that enables real-world economic investment in homes, factories, hospitals, railways, broadband, machinery, entrepreneurs, and more. Our Premier Minister of Finance, Andrew Foy, commented, stating, "These numbers paint a positive picture on the vigor of the BVI's financial services sector and a hopeful sign of a return of growth in the global economy. We know that the BVI companies play a key role in facilitating global investment, and it is reassuring to see this increase in the first half of the year as the BVI grow from strength to strength. Well, these results are also a testament to the hard work and excellence of the BVI's financial services sector, and continues to showcase the BVI's reputation as one of the world's prominent international finance centers," end quote. Well, Javon, this is some very welcoming news to the BVI, considering we would have taken somewhat of a beating or a battering over the last few years with a constant decline in the financial services sector. Obviously, with COVID-19, the pandemic affecting the territory, we would also been severely impacted. This financial services sector would have been impacted by that. And it's welcoming to see that at least, when compared to 2020, we are in a positive trajectory in regards to the financial services sector.
Absolutely, and I think it is reiteration and reassurance that the BVI financial services sector is resilient, it is robust, and it really stands the test of time. Even as we reflect on the atrocities of 2017, persons were expecting us to take a much bigger hit. I know projections coming into this pandemic said that the financial services industry globally would have been affected. And so we're very happy to see the BVI financial services industry not only surviving the tide, but also really standing in as the crutch to support the economy, especially now being that the tourism industry has been so severely impacted. And those would be the two pillars really serving to support the BVI GDP, the BVI economy. So I'm really happy to see this. And again, it is testament to the fact that what we have is very special. And I always like to remind persons, I think, when you think about the product, the financial services product, and how amazing it is, how resilient it is no coincidence that many persons overseas, media companies, other countries, in many other significant ways tries to attack the reputation of the BVI financial services industry. So kudos to all of the persons leading the charge, of course, and we trust that things continue to improve. Now, viewers, as we begin to close out, news coming out of the Carnival Cruise Line. Now, Carnival Corporation lost just about $2.8 billion in the third quarter, but shares rose Friday after the cruise line operator said bookings for the second half of the year are running ahead of the 2019 levels. Now, cruising investors are looking for any glimmer of hope for an industry that has been battered by the pandemic. Still, the short-term outlook remains grim. Now, Carnival said the rise in U.S. COVID-19 cases from the Delta variant hurt sales over the summer. Rivals Royal Caribbean and Norwegian Cruise Lines saw the same thing, viewers. Now, new reported virus cases are trending slightly lower now. However, Carnival said the average ship was only 59% full in August, but that was an improvement from 39% in June, and voyages generated enough revenue to cover cash costs. Now, Carnival Cruise Line representative, the CEO, Mr. Arnold Donald said, and I quote, "We recorded a significant loss, so we haven't recovered yet, obviously, but as we look ahead, we see brighter days. If things continue to trend the way they are with COVID-19 cases, we should see positive cash flow as we get our fleet sailing broadly again," end of quote. Now, viewers, while there were fewer passengers, they spent 20% more on board than before the pandemic, the company said. Donald said there could be several explanations for this. He said, and I quote, "People haven't been able to cruise, maybe not even travel for a while, so they are in the mood to spend more because they haven't had a chance to in a while." Now, Carnival, which is headquartered in Miami but incorporated in Panama, said that after write-downs, its adjusted loss was just about $1.99 billion in the third quarter, which ended August 31st. 8 of Carnival's 9 cruise lines, including Carnival Princess and Holland America, have resumed sailing with reduced schedules. The company said it expects more than half of the fleet to be operating by the end of October and a full fleet by next summer. The cruise industry has been among the hardest hit by the pandemic. The big 3 cruise companies are incorporated outside of the U.S., and they did not receive the same kind of federal relief that was granted to airlines. With revenue at rock bottom levels, the companies have borrowed billions to avoid sinking. Carnival shares rose to just about 3% to close at $25.44. Now, Kamal, great news for the cruise ship industry, and of course we continue to wish them well, because better prospects for them mean better business for us here in the territory. Viewers, that is all the time we have for today, but be sure to follow us for daily updates at 284media.com. We're also on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram as well as Twitter. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Kamal Haynes. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.